I did it. I'm here. We still may do this tomorrow. I'll try and do it again tomorrow if anybody actually shows up. Let's see if we can do anything. Yeah, I'll just sit here. It took me 37 minutes to get on. Well, I'm just going to start talking. There's nobody here but me, myself, and I, because I'm 37 minutes late for this live stream that was supposed to happen 37 minutes ago. I don't know who's here. Oh, Cheryl! Yay! Somebody came in. How's it going? It's just you and me right now because my video wasn't working. I've never done this before and I didn't realize how difficult it would be. I've done these on Facebook many, many times, but never on YouTube. And it was quite the curve. Yeah, it's good. I'm sitting in the corner. I'm dog sitting at my friend's house. So I sit down to get ready and I had to get her internet real quick because I didn't even think about it last night. Oh, it's still sitting at my house. We caught COVID. They're going to come though. I have them. And now I have a tube to put them in too. So I have not forgotten. I'm just very, very slow. Slow. And you're getting both of them. I'm going to send both of them. They both come. So one turned into two because of my tardiness and my slow, slow self. Oh, no problem. Do you collect Lego? Are you a Lego person? Or do you have friends or family who are Lego people? Uh-oh. Is it working? I think I'm still working. I'll hop until I can. Oh, yes, I'm live. Yes, I am. It actually worked, Tony. How are you? It'd be easier on Zoom where I could see your faces, but at least I can see what's typing along the side there. Yeah. Right now, the dogs are just like, looks like bombs went off and they're laying on the floor, even though I've got two beds for them. I know. Did you go in for your infusion-y thing, Tony? Or is that next week? Which, by the way, we still don't have heat. And I just got notified today that the part that got ordered was canceled. And so we have no timeline for heat. Isn't that fun? I just told the gals at knit group this morning, because I had knit group this morning here, that I would oh, awesome, Cheryl. I was working on my crochet today during knit group this morning. I didn't get very far though, because I get distracted so easy. But yeah, our part has no timeline. We have no part timeline coming at all. Yeah. So no heater in the future. At least it's warm. And we've figured out how to work our fireplace and we put curtains up. Yeah, I started back, Tony, but I'm joining because it's easier to concentrate on that when people are talking. So I just was joining them together. I joined two together and that's it. Boy, it's chill here. This is what I expected at Jessica's house. Oh yeah, Cheryl. Yeah, that was, and now that has problems too because the double sticky tape that you put the rug down with doesn't hold worth a darn. So I'm gonna move the rug and then we're gonna staple it down as well on the landing. Yeah. Yeah, everybody asked about you, Tony, at Knit Group to see how you were, especially Joyce. Joyce was here. Oh, and you know what? I just wanted a light colored rug, not anything too dark, Cheryl. And so that one had a light background. and it looked like little bits of orange. It said peach or something in it because I wanted either some green or some orange in the rug, which is pretty easy for Oriental style rugs. But yeah, so it's okay. I was happy with it. hmm I need more. I have rugs in the living room, but they're not my. They were free ones that I got from friends and stuff. And so I'm holding out that I'll find one I love eventually. They're just inexpensive ones just to stop our feet from freezing on the floor. Yes, I'm at Jessica's, Tony. I'm sitting in her she has like a bay window in her dining room and I'm sitting in there. Yep. And the dogs are here on the floor, not in the beds that are conveniently located for them. Oh, Jessica's not here. Jessica's in Hawaii. That's why I am here. That's why I'm at Jessica's house, is because I'm dog sitting. But she left me. She left me her favorite. It's last year we did this for Advent. It's the Furikake Crispix treats. And so furikake is like seaweed and sesame seeds, and then you take a little sugar and water and you make a sauce. It's like Chex Mix, only amped up. And then you use Crispix cereal. And you mix it like Rice Krispie treats, kind of. And then you let it cool, and then you have this snack. And I have had it next to my chair since Jessica gave it to me, and I've been eating it slowly. It's very tasty. Yes, I am warm, and I figure it's a staycation for me. So all I have to do is take care of the dogs, and I don't have to be in my house with all of its problems. I've got heat. Jessica even left me a Presto log so I can have a fire. Um, it's tidy, and nobody leaves stuff laying around unless it's just me. The only work I have to do is give Watson has a whole bunch of medicine that he has to take 3 times a day, and then Atlas has his medicine in the morning, and then I have to take them all for a walk. Oh, goodness, because there's no yard. So no fenced yard. That's a little more work. That's a lot more work, actually, to not just let the dogs out. I have to take them for a walk. But like Kathy said this morning, she goes, "Well, but it's good for you to take a walk." So I got up this morning at 9 because they woke me up. They needed to go out, and I took them for, I don't know, almost an hour's walk. Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely warm. Definitely warm. Look, t-shirts. My arms haven't been bare in weeks because I'm always layered up with wool. Yep. Which I gotta say, living in a house with too cold of stuff, that you understand why everybody used wool and loved wool. I love wool socks now. I love wool sweaters because they are the best when you're freezing to death. They keep you warm. Long sleeves, double cardigan. I have like a wool pullover sweater. Every day I get up and I wear my overalls, which I'm wearing today. And then I put a tank top on. So this is my layers. I can show you what I'm wearing part of it now because I'm still doing it. Every day is a tank top, underwear, obviously, a t-shirt, a wool pullover, my overalls. If it's super super cold out, I put on like long johns, or I just leave my pajama bottoms on and I put my overalls over them, and then I put a wool cardigan, like a Norwegian wool cardigan, over that. Oh, really, Cheryl? Do you live in a little old lady? Mine is 2,400 square feet. It's really not that huge. I mean, I don't think so anyway. And then, but the yard is pretty big. And then 1925. So how old is yours, Cheryl? It takes us a while to get there's a lag, I've noticed. It's hard to talk and have one conversation. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, it's as old. 27. That's just 2 years. 2 years difference. Well, we need to talk about how you keep it up. Did somebody fix it up, or have you just like, did people maintain it throughout the years? Because I think that's the biggest problem with mine is nobody touched it after like the 50s. There was some 1980s wallpaper stuff. But when we went in, the plumbing had never been changed. Oh, so yeah, so you have are you in a cottage, like a one level, not no upstairs? What are they called? Bungalow, I think. There's a Facebook page for bungalows. But nobody had the plumbing had never been updated. But I do think that the bathroom, one of the bathrooms, we have two, but I think one of the bathrooms, yeah, Tasha, yeah, you're right. I know Tasha had problems too. One of the bathrooms has never been touched, but it was original to the house because I've looked at house plans from 1925 that are similar, and they all had a bathroom where my bathroom is. And then there was a second bathroom added on in the 60s, and we fixed that. And then the kitchen hadn't been touched since the 50s. I don't think the roof had been done in years and years and years because there had been some leaks. And then the driveway just got rolled over an old septic tank. So they had hooked it up to the sewer, but then they paved the driveway and just left the septic tank in there. So it was about ready to collapse. Yeah. And then the electricity has never been changed. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize Tasha lost electricity and water. Oh my gosh. Ugh. So they had to do plumbing and electricity last summer, Tony? That really sucks. Yeah. Yeah. A cottage style would be pretty. And if we didn't we kind of let our hobbies get out of hand during COVID. And that's why we need a bigger house because we developed too much crap, didn't we, Tony? Tony's been to my house and seen my shameful office. Well, I think I videotaped my shameful office and all the crap. And then, of course, I'm helping to absorb my cousin's stuff. And that's a whole new problem that I have developed. A whole new problem. Yeah, Tony. Well, except when you don't have electricity, you can't run air conditioning. And it was hot this summer. Our heat went out this summer too. And we didn't have air conditioning for 2 weeks. I mean, at least you can open the doors and stuff. It's still miserable, but you're not going to freeze to death. I think cold has been worse than heat for sure. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I know, Tony. I've seen yours. Is it bad? Is your Arizona room bad again? I thought you'd been working on it. It was pretty good the last time saw it, which was, God, how long has it been since I've seen your Arizona room, Tony? It's been ages. Ages. Yeah. So what town are you in, Cheryl? You're in Canada, right? You sent me the address. I know. I'll go dig it out. But I think did you messaged it to me on Black Sheep, I'm pretty sure, Cheryl. But you're up in Canada. What town? Oh, awesome, Cheryl. That's awesome. I dream of that. Oh, yeah, I know, Tony. I had the same problem. It was not good. Oh, so you have a summer house. That's cool. That's really cool. Aren't you between Vancouver and aren't you like Grand Forks area? Oh, you're in Saskatchewan, Grenfell. I've only dipped into Saskatchewan. I'm trying to remember what town we went to when I was a kid. But we did a whole Canadian summer vacation once. And we went all the way from Victoria and we did like a road trip all along into Saskatchewan. And then we turned around and came home. But it was like the very edge. So I probably have not been to Grenfell, however you pronounce it. Yeah, that's cool. And you tat, Cheryl, do you do more than tatting? Do you sew and bobbin lace and stuff like that too? Oh yeah, do you have snow? Oh my God. We only had a skiff up here, and Tony gets none or hardly any down in Arizona. You've had a few. What, 2 years ago, Tony? 3 years ago, it snowed at Christmas time. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the snow. It's snowy in Spokane. I have one of my daughters in Spokane. Yeah, to that. I thought it was. Oh, so it was 3 years ago. 4 years ago. 4 years ago, it was snowy. Yeah, but I think it only was on the ground for like a couple hours, right? Hey, Tamra. Uh-oh. What? We know you aren't. Can we send it just to my house? What does that mean? Oh, tat, knit, crochet, cross stitch quilt. Cool. All the good crafts. Have you done bobbin lace? I'm working on bobbin lace, but I am the slowest bobbin lace learner that ever existed because I don't practice enough. Oh, ugh, ugh. Okay, I'm in. All the snow can go to your house. I know. That's because you have poor body regulation, heat regulation like I do, only the opposite direction. No bobbin lace. Kelly doesn't do bobbin lace either. She tried it and she didn't like it. Where I like it, I think I like it better than tatting, I have to say. I struggle with tatting. And I think it's because I'm left-handed, but I'm also right-handed, and I have very strong preferences both way, and I get confused easy, especially when it comes to joins. Oh, that's true, Tamara. Yeah, I don't like snow sports. I don't. It's cold and wet and sticky. I have sensory problems. I'm discovering that they're stronger as I get older too. Like the lawn, I hate walking in grass. I hate it, even with my shoes on. And I hate mud grass even more. The dogs today, when I took them out for their walk, they all wanted to go out in the mud. Yes, I think I honestly, do you know what I'm leaning towards? I want to do an embroidery project for 2023. How is anybody in on embroidery? What do you think about embroidery? I already did one this year, and I have to say it's the one I did the best at. You think embroidery, Tamara? I like the idea of embroidery, and I've already found the idea. So there's this book, and it's probably here in this house, but I don't know where. There's this book that has circles. You take felt circles, and then you embroider like one circle a week, and you put different designs on it. And I think it would be fun just to do something that's appropriate to your week, and you can pull it from ideas anywhere. But you embroider on this 1 inch felt circles, and then you put them on a backing, and then in the end, you have like a quilt with circles on it that you've embroidered. Those who I'm working on Dal horses. Oh, the Dal. Yeah, I've got one that Kelly sent me, but I haven't started it yet. Um, Yeah, I don't like the way they look, Tony. That's the only reason why I haven't opted for that. But you could do it if you want, where they take a circle and divide it. Jessica has lots and lots of embroidery that she's done, and she frames them beautifully. Let me see if I can pick you up and show you what she does with her embroidery framing. I think it's super cool, and I'm unplugging you briefly, so hopefully we won't run out. So look at here. Aren't these great? And all she said she's done is she goes to Home Goods and the craft store. Let me see if I can get this. She goes to Home Goods and the craft store and she gets shadow box depth picture frames. There, I'm back. She gets shadow box picture frames and then she just puts her embroidery in there. So I think like the drop cloth samplers, and she does have a circle, but hers was a color work circle. I don't think it's a weekly, not like the journaling embroidery. Well, if you like the circle, Tony, go for it. Just make a circle and divide it up into 12 segments. It totally can do that. Yeah, why not? I just don't love the way they look. Maybe it's because it's too modern for me. I like flowers. I like flowers that are traditional. That's my problem. Oh, you mean, oh, you like the circles? Okay, well, we can do that. So I'm getting a machine. Did I order it yet? I don't think I've ordered it yet. I have one of those. It's not the Skizix machines, but there are these machines that cut your fabric for you, but it's not that hard to cut circles. And you could cut 2 inch circles and have a little more space. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a machine where you can roll your fabric through and it will cut it exactly into your circle. So I think I'm going to order the template. I already have the machine that cuts quilt pieces. And I don't know why the Skizix is memorable to me because that's one of the brands. This is not that brand. It's AccuQuilt. That's what it's called. AccuQuilt. I have one of those AccuQuilt die cut machines. Ah, 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 ah. Stay out of the cookies. Hang on, I gotta go. I'll be right back. I have to get the food off the coffee table. You can't get into cookies. You stay out of the cookies. There we go. I'm back. conked my elbow on the wall. Yeah, I had snacks for Knit Group this morning, and Atlas decided he wanted to taste some. Here, do you want to say hello, Atlas? I don't know. There. Say hello. Hello. No? All right, that's it. That's all you get. That's all you get. He's over here bugging me. He's probably at 1 o'clock. Pretty soon we're gonna have to do medicine again, and then I'm gonna have to do take him out again for another walk. But I guess that's there. Tony said hello to you, Atlas. Yeah. So hand stitching, Cheryl, embroidery kind of stitching, or sashiko kind of stitching. Watson's sleeping curled up. He's probably exhausted. It was really funny last night. So, the first night with the dog that's not yours, you have to work it out. And they have the same kind of dog bed. Atlas's is at home. I did not bring it. And Atlas decided he needed to sleep in his dog bed, even though it was Watson's dog bed. And then Watson didn't have a place to sleep. Atlas normally sleeps on the bed, but he wouldn't stay on the bed. He kept getting into the dog bed and kicking Watson out. And then Watson was wandering around going, where am I supposed to sleep? So fine. And Watson's too short to jump up on the bed by himself. So I finally lifted Watson up on the bed so that and then we were fine. So I think tonight, for the rest of the week, I'm going to lift Watson up on the bed to sleep with me, and therefore we won't have a problem. I also may go get Atlas's bed so that there's two of them that match. Yeah, I like sashiko. I've done quite a bit of it, and Jessica has some of that too because I did the same thing she did, and then we talked about it. I'll go get them. Those are fun. Let me go get them. I'm coming back. There we go. So these are what I learned sashiko with. It's just coaster templates, and you learn the method. I really liked them. This was her first one, so it's a little because she didn't know how to sew at that point. Now Jessica is like a sewing crazy beast. She makes bags better than I can even make bags. Oh yeah, the Great Wave. Another one that Jessica was working on, Sashiko, was this Christmas tree that was spectacular. I don't know where she got it, and I don't know if we can get it, but beautiful Christmas tree that's Sashiko, and it's like 45 inches tall and then about 24, 26 wide. Beautiful tree. Lots of stitching. Lots and lots of stitching. I think I have a couple of Sashiko projects that I haven't done. It's really, Cheryl, I really like it. It's very meditative. Kind of like knitting when you're doing a sweater body because it's just the same thing over and over, but it's interesting because you do directions. Yeah. That's my life in a nutshell, Tamara. Sashiko's super cool. There are some YouTube guys. I think it's Sashiko Co. Sashiko. I think it's Sashiko Co. There's a guy who's from Japan whose family sells the thread that you do the stitching with. They like dye it and stuff, and it's high quality. And he's really interesting to watch because he just does live streams and he talks and he does sashiko. So you can look at the way he holds his hands and what he does. Now, I'm not very good. Normally, you get a thimble and you put it down here. I think you do it in your middle finger. And you do your stitching with your hand. So your fabric's here and you do your stitching like this. And then you do it in directions. So you do up and down, across, and then diagonal to do the different designs. So, oh, well, good. I'm glad, Tony. So, I like this. I like Sashiko a lot. I really like doing it. In fact, I probably should be picking some up because I don't think my attention span is back great yet from COVID, both times, because now I've had it a second time. And now I'm like falling back again, attention span wise. But for some reason, I've been able to focus a little bit better on embroidery. And maybe it's because I can just pick it up and put it down even easier than knitting. But yeah, I haven't been knitting very much at all. I did my hat, and I still haven't Kitchener the hat together. What was that? 2 days before Christmas, I think I finished my candy cane hat. Yeah, all you need, Cheryl, is like quilting cotton, a little bit heavy. So the heavier end of your quilting cotton. So if you have any like Kona, that's plenty heavy enough. And then you can do it with embroidery floss, like 3, 4 strands. Yes, there are specific tools you can use, but just a decent embroidery needle and with a decent sized eye and 3 to 4 strands of embroidery floss, and you can play around with Sashiko. Definitely don't need special supplies for it. Yeah, I don't think the light's very good, is it? It keeps fading. Let's see if I open one of these curtains, will that help? Let's see. I think we figured it out. There, does that help get some light in, or does that make it worse? My camera's not staying up with the light very well, is it? No, it's not working at all. I don't know what's happening. The light's being very weird. I need one of those ring light. I need to be one of those ring light things. Yeah, I closed it again. It didn't help. Didn't help at all. I've got a light right in front of me the way it's supposed to be, so I don't know why it's not working. But winter, winter. I need to go outside where there's sunshine, but there isn't any sunshine. Yeah, even snow would help, wouldn't it, Tamara? Because at least snow gets you light. Yeah. Uh-oh, there's a glass up. Oh, I just noticed a drinking glass sitting up on the counter. I don't know whose that is, if somebody left it here or not. Yeah, I wish I had sunshine right now. I wish. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spokane, because I spent I moved to Spokane when I was 15 and a half and then lived there until I was, how old was I? 35, 34, 35. And that is one of the upsides. I didn't like a lot about Spokane, but one of the upsides was, you had sunshine all the time. It may not be warm and it may be snowy, but it was sunny all the time. Blue sky. Yeah. And I never need sunscreen, Tamara, ever. I have my own personal tan all the time. And they say that your skin melatonin shouldn't matter, but I haven't burnt in, actually, I burnt in Arizona once, like 8 years ago. And it was because I spent all day at the swimming pool in the sunshine wearing my swimsuit. And there is virgin skin on my legs and on my shoulders that hardly ever sees the sun, and that was the part that burnt. Yeah. 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 Exactly. I don't know. I am super happy. There are a few things in my personal life that I got in the genetic draw that I hate, but boy, not needing to use sunscreen all the time is one of the things that I'm very grateful for. And I'm pretty grateful that I have a head full of hair. I don't have a thin hair problem. Now, yeah. Hey, Kathy. I know. Did you try right on time and then I didn't show up for 37 minutes? Because I was struggling. Couldn't get the live stream to live stream. It wouldn't let me in. It told me I didn't have a camera. Except I do have a camera. Clearly there's a camera here. So and I had no tech support because I'm by myself at Jessica's house. So I had to figure it out all by myself. Yeah, that's true, Tamara. Yeah, I don't use a hair dryer, but my hair stays wet for hours. So yes, that is true. Oh, you're doing oh yeah, that's right. You said you were doing a quilt along. So what's the design, Kathy? So you were cutting strips? One of the gals that was here this morning is doing a hexagon, so she was doing English paper piecing. But she's using glue to glue her pieces onto the English paper parts instead of sewing them on. So I don't know, that might give me some incentive to get done faster. I've got a ton of them cut out out of Liberty fabric, but I've done zero sewing. Yeah. Hmm. Yep. So just you. It's just us. Look at how many of there is us. There's three of us. Tony, Tamara. Oh, did we lose somebody? Did I lose Cheryl? I think we've lost Cheryl. Tony, Kathy, Tamara. Cheryl was a fourth, and we lost somebody. I hope Cheryl didn't lose her internet. Yeah, well, I'm a sucker. Every time I go to Joann's now because they've got it there right by the cutting counter. Oh, you're there, huh? My count doesn't count right. No, you. So what you do is you sew on English paper piecing. You sew all the pieces together, and then at the very end, you take a needle and you. Well, if you've basted them on, what you do is you take like heavier weight paper, not copy machine paper. I use like Manila folders weight cardboard or cardstock, but light cardstock. And then what you do is you take the piece that's a little bit bigger and you hand baste it around the paper. And then after you've sewn each piece together, then you go in and you undo your basting and you pull that card out. And theoretically, you can reuse the cards if you haven't mangled them too much. So no, you don't leave it in necessarily. The other thing that you can do is I've used English paper piecing method to do applique. And when that happens, I do know quilters who will leave their circle cardboard in their finished product and just sort of let it disintegrate over time if they wash it. But most of them, if you're doing intricate applique, it's going to become a wall hanging anyway, and it'll never disintegrate because you're really not going to throw it in the washer. So you leave it in, or you can also cut a slice in the back of your top before you quilt it together and then pull that paper out. Oh, no, English paper piecing is very fiddly. It is not it's not fast at all. Not fast at all. Yeah, index cards is a perfect way to actually, you're right, Cheryl. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Well, part of the reason I switched to knitting was it was more mobile than my quilting had been. But I quilted first, and I didn't knit for years and years. I crocheted first, and then Then I picked up quilting when my kids were little, and I did a lot of applique because I do like handwork. And then I figured out I liked handwork, and then I had somebody teach me how to knit. Actually, when my oldest daughter was pregnant with my grandson, I tried knitting again. I had tried multiple times and not been very successful. And then because I'm a lefty, I had somebody look at me while they showed me how to knit, and then I flipped it in my head. I knit right-handed, but I had to watch it left-handed in order to figure it out. And then after that, I've been off, and I knit like a crazy person after that. Oh, they have quilts already. Well, starting small is a good idea. I will tell you though that I find that miniature quilting is harder than big scale quilting because um, when you make a seam allowance error, even as tiny as an eighth of an inch difference, your quilt squares come out wonky. So the smaller you go down in scale, the less room you have for error. And that's why English paper piecing is almost better when you go down in scale because you don't make a mistake. It's perfect every time. Are you lefty, Kathy? Or are you a right-handed person? Oh, that'd be really cute, Tamara, with that mushroom fabric. Oh my gosh, that had to have been difficult to learn from a lefty. So my grandmother was a right-handed knitter, and she tried to show me. Um, my mom sort of tried to show me, but I don't learn well from my mom. We get into fights. It's not very good. So my grandma tried to show me, and she preferred crochet anyway, so it didn't really help that her heart wasn't in it. She could knit, she just didn't like it. And she was a combination knitter, and I didn't now I know that, but I didn't know that at the time. And so I thought she was a twisted knitter, but what I didn't understand is so when you're a combination knitter, you knit through the back loop and purl through the front loop in order to get your stitches not to twist. And that's how she knit. So she taught me that. But in the translation, I didn't get both components. I only got one. And so my knitting was just a twisted mess for a long time. Yeah. I finally figured out that facing, but now I can knit left or right. And if you knit continental, I feel like it doesn't matter if you're technically knitting right-handed because you're holding those needles and doing the work with your left hand, that it's fine. So that's why I'm a lefty, or I knit righty because I knit continental, and it feels the same to me as writing. It's the same. Yeah. So I try to teach them continental first, and then if that fails, I'm gonna have a little snack. If that fails, then I'll teach them left-handed. But I have to teach them left-handed throwing because I can't do continental left-handed. I do cast on left-handed though. All my work I cast on left-handed, and I didn't realize it. I thought it was normal. I thought I was casting on right-handed. And my students, I would teach beginning knitters how to cast on, and they were just like felt really uncomfortable. They had a hard time with it. And then years later, I figured out that I had been teaching people how to cast on left-handed and forcing these poor right-handed people to cast on my way. And now I can spot my students in a room when they start casting on because I trained them left-handed. It's super funny. Yeah. Oh, so armpit? Do you do armpit knitting, Cheryl? Do you have long needles in your armpit? Or are you ratcheting, like holding it like this and then really narrow throw with your needles at right angles? That's how my mother-in-law knits. We call it pit knitting. And she doesn't like to use circulars at all. She likes long straights. Hmm. Wow, Kathy, that's crazy. Both your parents were lefties and had two righties. Hmm. In my family, so I married a lefty the first time, and my three kids, one of them is a lefty, the other two are right-handed. I'm a lefty, but all my siblings and parents were right-handed. Oh, I'll have to watch you knit sometime, Tamara, because I haven't noticed that you're righty or lefty. Do you throw with your left hand, or do you do continental? Hmm. I do know people that were forced to change their. You're making your own knitting needles? Or just whatever you're working on at the time, you change your needles? Cheryl. I don't know. I have to go get my needles. I don't remember. I think I hold the yarn in my right hand. Continental with yarn in left. Okay, yeah, that's how I do it, Tamara. That's exactly how I do it. That's continental. Yarn in left. Yeah, that's normal continental. You're just European, Tamara. European. The right hand moves the needle and the left hand holds the yarn. No, I do the opposite. Oh, I'll have to look at yours then, Tamara. I think that's what I do. I think I do the same thing. Yeah. That's definitely the standard continental is holding your yarn in your left hand. Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah, Cheryl, my mother-in-law will use circulars, but she grumbles the whole time because she can't anchor it under her arm. I need to try because it's the Shetland style is basically what it is, but instead of using a knitting pouch, she puts it under her arm. And I guess they did that during one of the wars. I think it was World War One. The UK changed over because were there was quite a bit of continental knitting, but because the anti-German sentiment at the time, they purposefully changed over to separate themselves from the continent. It was quite an interesting article I read about it. Yeah, yeah, you just bend your finger down. It's fine, Tamara. It's totally fine to bend your finger down. You can I've tried a couple of times to do the Norwegian style where you use the needle and wrap it around, but I haven't I haven't got it to work. It feels like it's putting too much strain on the yarn, but it could just be me. I'm too sensitive. It is awkward. Yeah. No, I still feel that way. Now, Kelly does a really cool thing with her thumb. Kelly pearls with her thumb, and that doesn't look awkward at all. But it's if you look up, oh shoot, Portuguese style. So Kelly knits continental, but then she pearls Portuguese style, and it's really cool. What's a parlor knitter, Cheryl? Just that she sat in the evening and knit, or or is that a specific style of knitting? Oh, yeah, I'll have to watch. Yeah, well, I say that all the time, Tamara, and I haven't changed a bit. Yeah. I know, I'm waiting for the answer too, Tony. I can sorta do the way Kelly does it, but it's not comfortable. So I can show you what she does. It tends to slip off my thumb. What I need to do, you know how tatters say they need to build a pico gauge on their finger so that tattoo a pico gauge? I feel like what I need to do is install a piece of jewelry into my thumb so that I can hook the yarn to do a pearl. I think that would be convenient sometimes. Is it? Now I'm gonna have to go look it up. Parlor knitting, huh? Mm. Hey, I have my phone. I can look it up. I'm gonna look up parlor knitting. Now I don't know what that is. Google it. Let's see if we can find parlor knitting. Parlor knitting. Yeah, so my grandma was Carol Feller. Oh, leave it to Carol Feller. She's the best. Oh, oh, all right. So parlor knitting is how my mother-in-law does it. That is the pit knitting style. Yeah. So if you watch Miss Marple, she's a parlor knitter. That's how pit knitting, parlor knitting and pit knitting, it's the same. Although hers, she's not actually putting it in her armpit. Miss Marple puts hers on her arm. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah. Well, have you seen, Tony, have you ever seen David's mother knit? It's fascinating and fast, so fast. She looks like she is a machine at a factory because she can move so fast. It's like a ratcheting kind of thing. Hmm. Yeah, it's very fascinating. And she would come over in the early days when she would come over still, and she'd like crank out lace scarves and lace shawls overnight, really fast. So she did it the Miss Marple way. She didn't have it leaned up against her arm. Yeah, I know. I've tried a couple of times. I always try to pick up new knitting styles so that if I ever lose, like for example, my finger, because I do this to purl, and I'm really worried that I might get arthritis in this finger and not be able to do it anymore. So I try to practice other knitting styles so that if I have to switch over, I can. Mm, mhm, mhm. Well, and that's how they would have, Tamara, that's how they would have done it. Like the Shetland lace knitters, they all had 10-inch double points. And that's how they did those big shawls in the round is they would just put multiple needles around it, just like you would a sock. But it seems like those needles would slip out really easy. You'd have to be pretty savvy at keeping track of them all. Yeah. Well, and I think the Shetland's up in that region. So yeah, it's not unheard of that Scotland would have done something similar. Oh, so the knitting didn't touch their clothes. Huh. Yeah. Well, in Shetland, they've got the bag, and so that they could knit and walk and knit and do housework, and I think that's pretty cool. I have one. I bought a pouch, but I haven't stuck with trying to learn how to do it that way. Oh, yeah. David's mom doesn't care. She'll take anything, but she does like the wood. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Now, in Shetland, they use steel. Those are steel needles in Shetland, but they are kind of weird. I ordered some from Shetland, and they're pretty grippy because you know how cheap metal has that weird sticky quality? They feel like that, or steel. Huh. I get to go in September. Oh, excuse me. Tony and I are both going to Shetland, aren't we, Tony? In September. Yeah, totally. And that's David's mom is the same. And this parlor knitting style is very fast. And you wouldn't think it would be because it's sort of throwing, but it's fast. It's really fast. Yeah, Kathy, I hope it's as good as I'm building it up in my head. We'll see. Have you guys watched like the Shetland Mysteries and I've watched lots of shows on um documentaries, and then of course the Shetland Mysteries series where you get to see some of the landscape. And I love it. It's really nice. Or I think I'll love it. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to like the cold and the wind, but because we're going to be there in September. So we'll see. We'll see what it's like. I'll do some videos. It may take me a while. I still haven't put up all the videos from last May that I have sitting in a file that I haven't put together. It's hard because when you're on a trip, you don't want to spend your whole time with your camera in your hands videoing the thing you want to see. But so then I did a bunch of clips, but then it's hard to edit the clips because you have to make them sort of into a cohesive story. And so I've fallen off. I've not done a very good job. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do you have steel needles, Cheryl? I love Chigu stainless steel. Those are the ones I use the most. And then what is it? The Hayahayas aren't bad, but they're pretty. I never thought these words would come out of my mouth, but they're almost too sharp. I injured myself on one of those Hayahayas. But lace never can be too sharp. So the needles from Shetland aren't nice like the stainless. They're a little more grippy. They're weird. It's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. Yeah. Yeah. Chigu is still my favorite because of I like that red cable, the Chigu lace. Yeah, I was wondering if I coated them, Tamara, if that would make the ones that I got from Shetland better. I went to an antique fair and I found an old knitting set that's like leather and you undo the snap and lift it up, and it had a full set of lace weight knitting pins that are 10 inches long, which is really cool. And I have not used them, but I need to clean them up. I think a couple of them have a little bit of rust on them and stuff. So I haven't unpacked them yet because they're sitting in my sewing room in these sub-zero temperatures. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you? You learned on steels. I learned on aluminum because those were the cheap boys that my grandma used to buy at the dime store. I learned everything I did was the cheapest of the cheapest materials, the old fashioned. I don't know what her favorite crochet hooks were. I probably have some of her hooks around. I wonder if she cared. Because these days there are boy lovers and there are Susan Bates lovers for hooks, and they care a lot. I don't really care. In fact, I prefer steel hooks. I like the little teeny ones, so I don't use the big hooks very often at all. But my grandma, I don't know if she liked Boy or Susan Bates better, but she definitely bought the cheap Boy aluminum knitting needles, which I cannot abide, but it's what I learned on. Yeah, I know, but I love it. It's so historic to call them knitting pins, isn't it? Oh, you like the plastic ones? Do they bend a little. They feel weird. They feel weird to me, those plastic ones. I love the way they look. And have you seen that people take old plastic knitting needles and melt them into jewelry? Like you can make bracelets out of them and stuff. I'm not gonna do it because I have some really old fake they're beige, so they look like ivory kind of, but they're plastic. And I've thought about doing it, but the ends are so cute, I'm probably not gonna mar them up. I'll just leave them the way they are and leave them in a jar in my sewing room. Yeah. Yeah, I know. People don't know what you mean by knitting pins. They think it's a new tool. They don't realize it's just another word for knitting needles. Yeah. I did do some work on clover bamboo. I think my grandson's sweater that I finally mastered, I think it was on those clovers, man, and I when I was done with that sweater, I never wanted to touch those needles again. I did do cotton. I was stupid. My first big project was a baby sweater for my grandson. This went from 0 to 60. I had practiced a lot of things badly, but the full finished project that I did was a baby sweater, and I did, um washcloth, cheap washcloth cotton, and from Joann's, whatever that brand is. I can't think. Peaches and Cream or whatever it is. Worsted weight washcloth cotton. My tension was horrific, and I did it on bamboo circulars. Ugh, it was horrible. Poor kid. And my daughter was so sweet. She put him in it all the time, but it was not a nice product. It fit him though, so it was okay. Yeah, they can do that. They do still sell, well, they used to sell circulars, pearls. You could get pearl plastic circulars. I don't know if they have any left now, but I used to be able to get my hands on it was called, I think it's Pearls, I think. Bryson sells them. So I used to be able to get them. Yeah. Metal, aluminum ones or plastic ones, Cheryl? That was what my full collection for my grandma was aluminums from the 60s and 70s and all her hooks. But the steel hooks I cherish, so I keep track of my steel hooks. And we still we carry vintage knitting crochet hooks in the shop because I think the old crochet hooks are nicer than the new ones. I don't think that the new knitting needles are as nice or as easy to use as the more modern needles. I think that we've come a long way on knitting needles, but we haven't come as far on crochet hooks. I think the old crochet hooks are better. Oh, yeah. Oh, those are hard to work with, Cheryl. Really hard. Like the old Dianes with those really hardcore, looks like IV plastic tubing. Yeah, those are not. I've got a friend who knits on her old set of Diane knitting needles, and I have had to do some rows on her projects, and it is a struggle. It's a struggle. Really hard. Yeah, really hard. I wonder it's really weird that it doesn't count everybody who's in the room. I've got like on my screen, it says how many people are here, and it says 3, even though there's 5 of us. Isn't that weird? Somebody's invisible. Are you invisible, Tamara? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Those are an innovation that are good. Those are good. Those soft-handled ones. And they come out with a lot of them. I think Japan was the first one to release those soft-handled hooks. But you know what the problem is those soft handles, that silicone is going to wear out. So those are not going to be lifetime hooks. That silicone's going to get sticky over time and then it's just going to disintegrate, unfortunately. Whereas like the old steel ones, they're never going to go away. It doesn't matter. I know what it is. I know that there's 4 people in here. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I just think it's interesting. Who knows? You could log in twice, Tamara. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long those last. Oh, excuse me. I'm sleepy because of the up and down with the dogs who are now having a lovely nap all afternoon while I'm awake. Um, and oh, Atlas went back to the dog bed at least. Oh my goodness. Now my lights just really, my camera is having a fit, isn't it? Um, I once talked to there's a gal that does oh, I'm trying to think of the name of the lace. Romanian point lace, which I am dabbling at. It's something that I want to do in 2023 is start doing Romanian point lace and keep working on my Irish crochet. But her dad used to make their crochet hooks out of sticks. So he'd go out in the yard, find a good stick, and he would make their hooks. And they needed relatively small hooks because in Romanian point lace, you make a tube with a crochet hook, basically an I cord, but it's a specific crochet sequence. And then you use that as a basis to then do a needle lace weave project. And and just look up Romanian point lace. There's an Etsy seller that has a squirrel that I would love to buy, and I'm holding off. I'm trying not to get any more crap in my stash. But um, yeah, I think it's really cool that like a crochet hook, you can just well, knitting needles are the same, honestly. If you can go find two sticks and have a knife, you can make yourself the tools you need to knit with or crochet with, right? Yeah, that's weird. Oh well, who understands these things? I could barely get on here with this live stream. It took me, what did it take me? 37 minutes? I don't know when I started. Ooh, I've been on for almost an hour though. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll do this again. It's kind of fun. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know, Tony. It's fine. There'll always be innovations. It's totally fine. I just think it's interesting. It's weird. It's been weird because I've been doing the store for 10 years, and it's really weird to look at what innovations come along because, you know, people in all industries want to innovate all the time. So, what is it that they come up with when you're talking about a craft or a set of crafts that are ancient? Everything we do, nothing is particularly new or innovative. We just pick up the old stuff and recycle it in new ways, right? And it's interesting to look at what are the things that we value in knitting needles right now, and what are the things that we value in hooks, and what are they going to look like in 10 more years or 20 more years? Yeah, I'm totally with you, Tamara. But do they have the swivel on the red cable? I'll have to look because I know they have the swivel on the white cable, and they've had that for a while. But then you don't have that coated heavier cable, which that's part of what I really love about the Chai-Guz is that cable. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Everybody made their own tools for crafting. Yeah, because I know that they've had the white or the clear, bluey, cleary. Yeah, I'm waiting for your thing to come, Kathy. I just got an eye or a line. Yeah, I know, Cheryl. It's nice, isn't it? We can nerd out on all of our stitchy, crafty stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I hope I've seen everything. 4 is about my limit to stay up with this. Now I understand, those the big stars who go on and do live streams with 100 billion people commenting all at once. I can see why it's really difficult because I've got you right here in about 2/3 of my screen. And then over here is the chat, and it's about 3 inches wide and not very big. And it gets sometimes it's slow and I can read stuff, and then sometimes it moves pretty fast. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so are they moving faster for you, Kathy? I can follow them because they go up and stop. But I can't imagine like Arne and Carlos when they've got 500, 600 people watching and talking at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it would be easy to do. Yeah. Well, there's not too many of us, Kathy. That's why I'm not popular. That's why. Yeah. You make a monster when you get too popular, right? Although we're up to 550 something followers after how many years? I think I've been doing this for 3 years on YouTube. We're not a fast moving channel. I think it's because I don't do Instagram and TikTok and all that. Kelly does more than I do, but I have to learn my one thing at a time. I can't do too many things at once. Oh well, next time I see you, Tamara, let me see them because I may have to get some. Well, if anybody wants any swivelly ones, I want to try them. Oh, you're in there twice. That's funny. Yeah, well, I think that's what you have to do, Tony, when there's just so many going by, you can't get them all. Oh my goodness. 2,200 people talking at the same time? Hey, Tamra, anytime, man, anytime. Ilian, my friend, says that I should hire somebody just to follow me around and make my YouTube videos, following me around in doing what I do every day because I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off all the time. I think it would be boring, but I don't know. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine 2,200. That would be so hard to, I mean, I'd be more than happy if people were subscribed. That many were subscribed. That would be lovely. But to do a live stream with that many people at once would be really hard. Super hard. Yeah. Would be really hard. Yeah. I know I talked to Kelly on the phone yesterday, and she said she's found a piece of software to make Instagram easier. So we're going to play with it. In fact, she used the little piece of software to do, I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, the New Year's Eve party notification, and then the one she did with her face, and I think she said Tadalong. I think it was her Tadalong one that's coming. Kelly used this new piece of software to help set up those Instagram posts, and I thought they looked really good. Wow. It was on the Quilt Shop YouTube. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've not watched the Quilt Shop. I don't really watch a lot of quilting YouTube channel stuff. Grayson, my youngest child, watches more, and so sometimes I'll watch that just because I'm in the room and it's going. But I haven't actually sewn. And the last 2 years, it's been more clothing that I've been doing than quilting. So that's also I watched a lot. I've watched a lot of the costumers. Bernadette Banner a little bit, but I kind of got tired of her. And so who do I watch? I'm trying to think who I watch. Nicole Rudolph is interesting sometimes because she does a big nerdy history talk a lot. And I'm trying to think who else. Oh, and then I watch the French Chateau people, and now I'm watching all kinds of home fix-it stuff. Because when I watch the home fix-it ones where people's houses are in worse shape than mine, it helps me feel better. So I'm watching those train wrecks. Well, I don't know if there was from the person who wrote the circle book. I'm looking at Jessica's stash here because she has her art set up right next to me, but I don't see the book that the person loaned her. She has an embroidery teacher that loaned her the book, and that's what I'm taking the inspiration of. But I'll do if I do the circle thing, Tony, I'll do it. I'll make it something I do every week. I'll do the circle a week. Yeah, there is a book for the embroidery thing. And I'll find the name of it and add it, or maybe I'll do a book talk about it. If we choose to do it, if you guys are in and want to do embroidery next year, do circle embroidery. We'll do like a circle a week or a circle a month or something. We can figure out how many to do. And then I'll do a book talk. I'll get the book and do a book talk, and then we can talk about it. I kind of want to design my own though. This one, she gives you the pattern. I think 52 patterns or something. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool, Tamara? I would love to do like 50 different mushrooms. That would be super cool. Or I could do like 50 different flowers or birds. Wouldn't that be cute to have a bird one with different birds? Yeah, that'd be fun. That would be cool. Yeah. Or you could even just do flora and fauna of Oregon or Saskatchewan or wherever you live, Arizona, right? And you could do an animal or a flower or a fungus from wherever you live. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Absolutely. That would be cool. And then you could just you could put your single mushroom on that circle, but you could do other stuff around it to, like snowflakes or a piece of lichen, or you could do all kinds of things around the mushroom could be the unifying factor, and then you could embellish with other stuff, right? That would be really nice. I like that. And then you could save your mushroom flannel for the back. We found some fabric. I think it was when I did my I buy too much crap confession video. I showed you guys all the mushroom fabric that we found. right? Oh, Tony, wouldn't it be neat to do different cacti? Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, I just had a conversation with Jessica the other day about the difference between moss and lichen, Tamara. You've trained me. I told her where I got my knowledge. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. You got lots of flannel you can use then. You could join your circles. I don't know if you probably wouldn't want to put your circles on a print. So I bought the felt, but I'm not really super happy with the felt. I guess Craft Warehouse has felt, but it's not 100% wool. It's a wool blend, which was a little disappointing. I need to find some. I think what I would like to do is find wool felt of an appropriate weight and put it on wool, not wool felt, just on wool, and then make a wool quilt. Well, I gave you credit. I told Jessica all about the difference between lichen and moss. And there was plenty of examples in the park right out here. We were taking the dogs for a walk, and the topic arose, and so we talked about it. Yeah. Yep. All right. I've been on for an hour. Should we do this again? Oh, do they, Tony? I'll have to go look. I haven't been to the other than Joanne's for the quick out. The other thing I have to do is go get snap totes. I need something to hold my thread, and then I also need stuff to hold my Christmas ornaments. So I'm going to go look for snap totes this week. Do they, Kathy? I didn't see any, but I also wasn't specifically looking for that. I just found this blend stuff that looked pretty good, but I found it at Craft Warehouse. Yeah. Yeah, but it wasn't 100% wool. It was a whole, if you look close, it says wool felt, but then you look at the label and it's part wool, part polyester. And I was very disappointed. I know. Yeah, I know, right, Tamara? Yeah, I know. The Christmas ornaments might be gone. I know. Grayson told me that they had to go to like 5 different Joann's to find them for their Christmas ornaments. So I don't know. I may be out of luck already. Yeah, Kathy, I have some. So I did buy stuff from Craft Warehouse, and I may just use it to try it out and play with it, even though it's a partial wool, partial not. I mean, any of it beats the heck out of the old school felt that we used when we were kids, right? That polyester plastic hell that wasn't nice at all and stretched and was yucky. So it's a step up from that anyway. But if I can find some really nice wool, I was kind of thinking of, because you can take your embroidery and actually embroider it onto the backing and then go off of it and have your design go off the circle a little bit. And if I do that, I kind of need to get my backing fabric right away. And I was kind of thinking tweed would be pretty nifty to put like black circles on some tweed and then embroider off of them. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it would be heavy enough. It might. It might actually, Tamara, to just felt it myself. It actually might work. Yeah. Yeah. I'll find it. You know what? If anybody's going to have any good felt, it's Japan. I probably should look through our supplier that we have and see if they have any good felt. They're bound to have made it bigger and better and fancier, right? Those Japanese know their quality craft supplies. Is it really? Ugh, that's so annoying. Super annoying. Oh, well, it's hard because, the not such great ingredient products are so much cheaper to make. And so you can make so much more markup on them, which is why the big box stores get in the crappy, not such nice supplied stuff because it's so much cheaper because they bring it all in from China. I mean, China deserves to make a money too, but it's unfortunate that when those things come in that you can't even, it's really hard to find good stuff if you want it. You don't have a choice. You end up losing the choice. So before it was everything's unaffordable and you can't afford it. And then the cheap stuff comes and it supersedes the expensive stuff. And now you can't find the good stuff when you finally want it. There you go. Yeah. Washougal does not have the best choice of fabric. The best choice of fabric and supplies is over by Milland, honestly. Where is it? It's over by Reed College. Over there is where the best supply of fabric is. It's got the most. Yeah. Yeah. And then you could go to Milland too, because it's the big Milland store. Is it Milland? Yeah, Milland. Because we just have the little one. Pendleton might. Well, Pendleton will have some wool, that's for sure. Actually, I've been thinking of going over there because they have some wool clothing fabric that I've had my eye on, but it's only gray. Oh, well, there you go. So you might already have your felt. That's good, Tony. All right, I'll get my act together and I'll peruse Jessica's shelf or ask her if the book is here because I've been texting her this morning. And I'll show you the book. I'll do a little book talk and I'll upload it to the YouTube channel so you can see what book I'm talking about and what we're talking about here. But yeah, I think the circles would be fun. And then not crochet and not knitting, it's a little smaller and better for my attention span right now. All righty, I'm going to let you guys go. We're 11 minutes over an hour. And do you want me to try and come on live tomorrow again at noon so that I can actually be on time? And now that I know how this works, let me know. You can send me a message or you can make a comment here after I go. Oh, I don't even know who Prairie Woolens is, so I'll have to look. Are they online, Kathy? Okay, I think I have dogs that want to go out, so I'm going to have to go. I heard that. I heard your house sitting in April. I heard that intel this morning. All right. What? Oh, is that a yes for tomorrow, Kathy? Oh, shush. They're starting to bark at me. They're getting anxious. All right. They both got up and walked over and then started farting on me. Not my favorite ending to a live stream. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.